Imagine you're standing 5 miles from the nearest road, deep in the Alaskan wilderness. The air is cold enough to burn your lungs with every breath, and the last light of day is fading behind snow-covered peaks. Your backpack is soaked from crossing icy rivers. Your legs are exhausted after hauling hundreds of pounds of moose meat through dense brush. Every step feels heavier than the last, but you're finally heading back toward camp. Then, without warning, everything goes silent. No birds, no wind, just the unmistakable sound of thick branches snapping somewhere behind you. At first, you tell yourself it's another moose, maybe another hunter, but then you hear it again, closer this time. A massive grizzly bear bursts through the brush, closing the distance faster than your mind can process. In that moment, your expensive camouflage doesn't matter. The premium scope mounted on your rifle doesn't matter. Even years of hunting experience suddenly feel insignificant. Only one question remains. Did you choose the right caliber before you left camp this morning? This is the reality that separates Alaska from almost anywhere else in North America. Out here, the wrong decision isn't measured by a missed trophy or a disappointing hunting trip. It can be measured in seconds and sometimes in survival itself. Every experienced hunter knows the nightmares that keep them awake before a hunt. A wounded bear disappearing into thick cover, a bullet that fails to penetrate deeply enough, a rushed follow-up shot that misses under pressure, muscles so exhausted that even lifting the rifle feels impossible, or the terrifying realization that the rifle you've carried for days may not be enough for what's standing in front of you. That's why serious hunters don't spend thousands of dollars on a rifle simply to punch holes in paper targets. They buy confidence. They buy reliability. They buy the ability to make one shot count when there isn't time for a second chance. Yet if you spend just a few minutes online, you'll find endless debates about which caliber is the greatest ever made. Every forum has a different answer. Every expert has a different opinion. But here's what makes Alaska different. The guides who stake their lives on these decisions year after year don't trust dozens of calibers. They keep coming back to the same handful, season after season, because those cartridges have earned their reputation through hard experience rather than internet arguments. So why do these particular calibers continue to dominate one of the harshest hunting environments on Earth, even after more than a century of new technology and modern designs? And if your life depended on choosing just one rifle before stepping into bear country, which one would you trust? Today, we're going to explore the 5 rifle calibers that Alaska hunters refuse to leave behind, and by the end, you may discover that the best caliber isn't necessarily the biggest, the fastest, or even the newest. It might simply be the one that gives you the greatest chance of making it home. At number 5 is a cartridge that has refused to disappear for more than a century, the legendary .3006 Springfield. Introduced over 100 years ago, it remains one of the most trusted hunting rounds in North America, and for good reason, with bullet weights ranging from 110 to 220 grains. It offers the versatility to hunt everything from deer and caribou to elk and even mature moose. While it doesn't deliver the raw power of larger Magnum cartridges, it has earned its reputation through reliability, manageable recoil, and ammunition that can be found almost anywhere. 3006 is an excellent choice for first-time hunters looking for one rifle that can handle nearly every big game hunt. If your goal is chasing elk through mountain timber or calling moose in Alaska's river valleys, this cartridge has more than enough capability when paired with quality bullets and proper shot placement. Compared to the .308 Winchester, It offers slightly more velocity and the ability to fire heavier bullets, giving it an advantage on larger animals. Against the .300 Winchester Magnum, however, it falls behind in long-range performance and overall energy, although many hunters appreciate the lighter recoil and lower ammunition cost. But the .3006 is not the ideal choice for everyone. If your primary focus is hunting large coastal brown bears or preparing for closer-range encounters with aggressive grizzlies, there are better options that provide greater stopping power and a larger margin for error. In a worst-case scenario, when a massive bear is charging through thick brush, most experienced guides would reach for something bigger. So, would I trust my life to a .3006 Springfield? Yes, but only under certain conditions. As a true Deutol hunting cartridge, few rounds have matched its record. Yet, in Alaska, where the stakes can change in an instant, versatility sometimes has to give way to sheer stopping power. And that's exactly where the next caliber begins to shine. Coming in at number 4 is a cartridge that many people mistakenly consider a relic of the past, the .4570 Government. First introduced in 1873, it has been around for more than 150 years, yet it continues to earn the trust of Alaskan hunters and professional guides. Modern ammunition has transformed this old black powder cartridge into a serious powerhouse, launching heavy bullets weighing between 250 and 500 grains with tremendous stopping power at close range. One reason many experienced guides still carry lever-action rifles chambered in .4570 is speed. In thick alderbrush, where visibility may be measured in feet instead of yards, there is no time to dial a scope or calculate bullet drop. You need to shoulder the rifle, find the target instantly, and fire with confidence. That quick handling is exactly where the .4570 excels. It was built for brush hunting, where encounters happen fast and hesitation can be dangerous. Of course, every caliber has its limits. The worst place for a .4570 is the wide-open tundra, where shots can easily stretch beyond 300 yards. Compared with flatter-shooting cartridges like the .300 Winchester Magnum, the heavy .4570 bullet drops quickly and loses velocity at longer distances. It simply wasn't designed for long-range precision, but in its ideal environment, few cartridges inspire more confidence. Picture a massive brown bear exploding out of dense brush only 20 yards away. There is no time to think about ballistic charts. You need maximum penetration and immediate impact. And that's exactly why generations of guides continue to rely on this cartridge. Many people still repeat the same myth. The .4570 is outdated. The reality is just the opposite. It isn't outdated at all. It was simply designed for a different job. In the close, unforgiving terrain of Alaska, where stopping a dangerous animal matters far more than hitting targets at extreme distance, the .4570 remains one of the most respected bear defense cartridges ever made. But if you need greater versatility without giving up too much power, the next caliber on our list offers a compelling balance. At number 3 is the cartridge that many hunters consider the gold standard for big game hunting, the .300 Winchester Magnum. Introduced in the 1960s, it quickly earned a reputation for combining flat trajectory, excellent accuracy, and hard-hitting energy. Even today, despite the arrival of newer cartridges like the 7mm PRC 300 PRC and .300 WSM, 300 Win Mag continues to dominate hunting camps across Alaska. Why? Because it has something many modern cartridges are still trying to earn: decades of proven success in the field. The 300 Win Mag offers the reach needed for Alaska's vast tundra while still carrying enough energy for large animals like moose, elk, and caribou. Compared to the 7mm PRC, It launches heavier bullets that deliver greater impact on larger game. Compared to the .300 WSM, it generally provides higher velocity and better long-range performance, although at the cost of a longer action. And while the newer .300 PRC offers impressive ballistic efficiency, the .300 Win Mag still wins in one important category: ammunition availability. In remote hunting towns, finding .300 Win Mag ammunition is usually much easier than locating newer cartridges, and that practical advantage matters far more than a slight ballistic improvement. Of course, long-range capability brings responsibility. Ethical hunters know that simply owning a rifle capable of hitting targets at 800 or even 1,000 yards doesn't mean every shot should be taken. Wind, animal movement, and shooting position all become critical factors. The best hunters use the rifle's capability as a safety margin, not as an excuse to stretch every shot. The recoil is certainly noticeable, but for most experienced shooters, it remains manageable with regular practice. Barrel life is shorter than a standard .3006, yet still more than adequate for years of hunting before accuracy becomes a concern. Who should buy the .300 Winchester Magnum? Hunters looking for one rifle capable of handling almost every North American big game hunt, especially those expecting longer shots in open country. Who shouldn't? New shooters who are sensitive to recoil, or hunters who spend most of their time in thick brush where long-range performance offers little advantage. Its best hunting scenario is a mature bull moose or caribou standing across a wide valley where distance demands precision. Its worst scenario is an unexpected bear encounter at extremely close range where faster handling, heavier hitting cartridges may offer greater confidence. Even so, few cartridges have earned the respect that the .300 Winchester Magnum continues to command after decades in the toughest hunting environments on Earth. Now imagine a very different hunting scenario. You're not the client anymore, you're the guide. You spent years building a reputation by keeping hunters safe in one of the most unforgiving places on Earth. Your client spots a massive brown bear at close range. He raises his rifle, takes a deep breath, and pulls the trigger. The shot misses. The bear doesn't. Instead of running away, it charges straight toward both of you. In that moment, there is no time to debate ballistic charts or internet opinions. You have only seconds to stop thousands of pounds of muscle, bone, and instinct. That is exactly why the .375 Holland Magnum has survived for more than a century. Originally introduced in 1912, the .375 H&H built its legendary reputation on the dangerous game of Africa, where it became the trusted choice for buffalo, lion, and elephant. Remarkably, the same qualities that made it famous there also made it a favorite in Alaska. Whether facing a Cape buffalo in Africa or a charging brown bear on the Alaskan coast, the challenge is the same. You need deep penetration, tremendous stopping power, and absolute reliability when there is no room for error. With heavy bullets typically weighing up to 300 grains, the .375H delivers enormous energy without sacrificing accuracy. It is powerful enough for the largest game Alaska has to offer while still maintaining effective performance at practical hunting distances. For many professional guides, that balance is worth every ounce of extra recoil because they know their rifle may one day be the only thing standing between life and tragedy. Of course, that level of performance comes with compromises. Rifles chambered in .375H are generally heavier to carry over long distances. The ammunition is significantly more expensive than common hunting calibers, and the stout recoil can slow follow-up shots for shooters who haven't practiced extensively. It is not a cartridge designed for casual hunters or weekend target shooters. Yet, despite those drawbacks, the .375H continues to earn the respect of professionals across 2 continents, when experienced guides are responsible not only for harvesting game but also for protecting human lives. They often choose certainty over convenience, and while the .375 HH has become one of the greatest dangerous game cartridges ever created, there is still one caliber that many Alaskan hunters consider the perfect balance between power, versatility, and everyday practicality. Before revealing the number one choice, let's challenge one of the biggest myths in the hunting world. Many hunters assume the biggest caliber automatically makes the best hunting rifle, but in Alaska, that's rarely true. The best caliber isn't simply the one with the most energy or the heaviest bullet. It's the one you can shoot accurately under pressure after hiking for miles, with your heart pounding and only seconds to react. Accuracy always comes before horsepower, because a perfectly placed shot beats raw power every single time. And that brings us to the cartridge that many experienced Alaskan guides and hunters consider the ultimate balance, the .338 Winchester Magnum. Since its introduction in 1958, it has earned a reputation as one of the finest all-around big-game cartridges ever designed, firing bullets typically weighing between 200 and 250 grains. It delivers outstanding penetration and tremendous stopping power while still maintaining a relatively flat trajectory. Whether you're taking a longer shot across an open valley or facing a massive bull moose deep in the timber, the .338 Win Mag has the versatility to handle both with confidence. Compared to the 3006 Springfield, the .338 hits significantly harder and offers deeper penetration on the largest animals. Compared to the .300 Winchester Magnum, it sacrifices a little long-range speed but delivers noticeably more authority on impact, especially when hunting heavy-bodied game like moose and brown bears. And while it doesn't quite match the raw power of the .375 H Magnum, it produces less recoil, allows faster follow-up shots, and is much more practical for hunters who spend long days carrying a rifle through rugged terrain. This balance is exactly why the .338 Winchester Magnum has remained a favorite in Alaska for decades. It reaches farther than most heavy dangerous game cartridges, hits harder than traditional .30 caliber rounds, and remains manageable enough for experienced hunters to shoot accurately without excessive punishment. Few cartridges combine power, range, and shootability as effectively. So, if I could own only one rifle for Alaskan rifle capable of hunting moose, caribou, elk, and providing confidence should an unexpected bear encounter occur, this would probably be it. The .338 Winchester Magnum may not be the newest cartridge on the market, but it continues to prove that real-world performance matters far more than the latest trend. After discussing ballistics, bullet weights, and the most trusted calibers in Alaska, it's time to talk about something that rarely appears in online debates. Ask an experienced Alaskan guide what matters most in the field, and you'll probably be surprised by the answer. They rarely begin by talking about muzzle energy, ballistic coefficients, or which cartridge wins on paper. Instead, they start by asking questions about the hunter standing beside them. Can you shoulder your rifle and make an accurate shot in just a few seconds? Can you cycle the bolt smoothly without taking your eyes off the animal? Can you stay calm enough to fire a precise follow-up shot if the first one doesn't end the encounter? And perhaps the hardest question of all, can you still do all of those things after hiking for 10 hours, crossing freezing rivers, climbing steep ridges, and carrying a heavy pack through thick brush? Those are the questions that matter when you're hunting in Alaska. Because the wilderness doesn't care how impressive your rifle looks or how powerful the cartridge is on a ballistic chart. A moose won't stand perfectly broadside forever. A wounded bear certainly won't wait for you to catch your breath. Under real pressure, your training, confidence, and familiarity with your rifle become far more valuable than an extra few hundred foot-pounds of energy. This is why experienced guides often recommend a rifle that a hunter can shoot confidently instead of simply choosing the biggest caliber available. A well-placed shot from a cartridge you know inside and out will almost always outperform a poorly placed shot from a rifle that's too heavy, recoils too hard, or intimidates you every time you pull the trigger. The internet will always argue about numbers, but Alaska has a way of exposing what truly matters. In the end, success isn't determined by winning an online caliber debate. It's determined by whether you can deliver the right shot when the moment of truth finally arrives. After everything we've covered, you may be expecting a simple answer, a single caliber that stands above all the rest. But the truth is, that's not how real hunting works. There may never be a perfect hunting caliber. There is only the caliber that is perfect for the hunt you're about to face. A hunter pursuing white-tailed deer in the hardwood forests of Texas will face completely different challenges than someone tracking bull moose through the wetlands of Alaska. Likewise, a professional hunter following Cape buffalo across the African bush has priorities that are worlds apart from a mountain hunter glassing for sheep at high elevation. Each environment demands different skills, different equipment, and ultimately different compromises. That's why this debate has continued for well over a century, and it's probably never going to end. Some hunters will always value lighter recoil and faster follow-up shots. Others will never sacrifice raw stopping power. Some believe versatility is everything, while others are willing to carry a heavier rifle if it gives them more confidence when facing dangerous game. None of those perspectives are necessarily wrong. They simply reflect different experiences, different hunting styles, and different realities in the field. Perhaps that's the biggest lesson Alaska teaches every hunter. Success isn't about owning the newest rifle or chasing the latest cartridge trend. It's about understanding your own abilities, knowing your limitations, practicing until operating your rifle becomes second nature, and choosing equipment you can trust when conditions are at their absolute worst. Because when the moment of truth finally arrives, confidence and preparation often matter just as much as ballistic performance. Now we'd like to hear from you. Imagine someone handed you one rifle, and that rifle had to do everything. It had to take deer cleanly, handle elk and moose with confidence, and still give you a fighting chance if a charging brown bear suddenly appeared. Which caliber would you trust with your life, and why? Share your choice in the comments below. Your answer might help another hunter make one of the most important decisions they'll ever make before stepping into the wilderness. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more in-depth hunting content, and we'll see you in the next adventure.